Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. It's Friday, July 28th. Here we are, another Massive Iron Live. I appreciate you guys joining me. For those of you guys that are new here, I do this every Friday at 11 Eastern. So please tune in. I've done it every Friday without fail for the last 100 years, it feels like, for a very long time. I think I've missed once or twice in the last 3 or 4 years. So basically, it's the longest running live Q&A and lifting. Let me know if sound's okay. Let me know if video quality is okay. My Wi-Fi here sucks monkey ass. Excuse the honesty. I'm going to be moving to a new place in a couple months. So hopefully that gets all cleared up. How are things going? How you guys doing? Hope you had a good week. I hope you had a good training week. I had a good training week. I'm going to do shoulders today. Thanks, Bread and Gatorade. I'm going to do shoulders today and then maybe junk tomorrow. I've been training like 5-6 days a week, trying to train 5-6 days a week, really trying to get my intensity up. So a couple things before we get started. If you're new here, don't be shy. Post up a question. I'm here to help. So there are no dumb questions, just stupid questions and awkward questions. Just kidding, just humor. Don't be shy. If you think I've heard a question 1,000 times before, post it up. There's a buddy boy. Hey, buddy boy, come on up. Come here. Don't be shy. Come on up. There we go, buddy. Okay. Don't be shy. Post up your question. I'm here to help. A couple things. If your questions aren't going through, it's not me. It is YouTube's filters. So try shortening your question. Try rephrase. What are you saying? Try rephrasing your question. And if that doesn't work, you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM, or just follow me on Instagram, right? Follow me on Instagram. Whoops, where'd it go? And slide into my DM with your question. I'd be happy to help. This is Buddy Boy right here. My best friend in the whole world. He follows me around, and he's a good little doxy. He's a good little wiener dog. Are you a good boy? You're the best boy. Yes, you are the best boy. What else? Before we get started, a quick commercial. I'm pretty full as far as coaching. I had my slots filled up last week, but usually I have always somebody coming and going every couple of weeks. So if you're interested in coaching, head over to superlivingtoday.com, and there's a coaching tab you can fill out, get some more information. And if you would like, you don't need coaching, but you'd like a really good community, check out teammassiveiron.com, teammassiveiron.com. Team Massive, it's just like a Facebook community, but it's a little bit better organized. We have topics, we have chat, we have form checks. You can DM me. You can get help. It's a gated community, so we keep out the trolls and the riffraff and the nonsense and and all the crap like that. So please check that out. And I think that's really about it. I have a workout tab over here at superlivingtoday.com. Workouts are my specialty. I love programming. So if you need workout ideas, check out the massive collection over here. It's got some really, I think 354 pages of workout ideas, enough to keep you busy for a while. You know what I'm saying? And I got books over here, real books, like paperback books, log books, cookbooks, training books. And I have whey and creatine. I'm not trying to be a supplement company, but I have really good products. And if you want to support the little guy, these are not just basement put together products. These are by top manufacturer who I am working with, and they do fulfillment for me. So an order comes in, they get the order. I don't have any hands on. They just ship it straight out. We did have a creatine backlog the last 2 weeks, which is the first time in a couple of years that we had an issue. But that was more nationwide than anything. So we got that fixed up this week. So we're back on the creatine. All right. Enough talking. Buddy boy, you got anything to say? No, he's a little shy this morning. All right, I'm going to set Buddy boy down. There you go. And let's get on with things. Let's get the stuff off the stuff here. And let's get rolling. Just a reminder, if you post a question before live starts at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m., you get a chance to win a free Massive Iron t-shirt, hoodie, whey, creatine, or Team Massive Iron membership, or really anything from the store. We're not picky. So excuse my transient office. I just kind of pile crap on the chair back there and on the desk over here, the cabinet over there. We're having a house built, and we're going to be out of here in a couple months. So this is just kind of a transient abode, if you will. All right, let's go. Dumbbells and Donuts, happy Freitag to the massive mammals of massiveness from Team Massive. Running into lower back pain after posterior days. Basic pointers. Number one, calorie intake. You got to make sure you are, especially for somebody like you that's on your feet a lot, you got to make sure those calories are up there. We got to take care of that lower back. You're on your feet, so that's going to be good for lower back health in general. But if you're training hard, and you're attacking things like RDLs and deadlifts and squats and dumbbell and barbell rows and exercises like that are very lower back intense, you need to keep the calories in check, man. You're pushing the body, and you need to give it that room for growth. So if you're not pushing calories, the only advice I have for you is to kind of hold steady. We don't want to over push, in kind of a maintenance or calorie surplus on the big posterior heavy lifts. Why are my lats sore after a big bench day? Because benches, I'm not trying to dumb things down, but bench is a compound movement. And over the years, when I'm benching, I get lat cramps, I get back cramps, I get all kind of low back cramps. Your back is involved. It's stabilizing the bench. It's not just the chest and triceps and delts that are involved with lowering and pressing. You have counter forces. You have the lats that are trying, your back, your rhomboids, things that are trying to hold the ship steady, and they're under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. So I could say that a magical cure is to work your back and your rear delts and your lats heavy, but I still get cramps on back. More than anything, I get back cramps on bench press. I get strains and stress on my back on bench press, and that 100% is just from the general stresses of the bench press. I have a very strong back. My back's probably my strongest body part overall, and it still doesn't help much. So just part of the process, nothing to worry about. A compound movement is going to get you sore in different places. Like I'm getting back up to speed on bench press the last 2 weeks. I've hit 315 by 8 as my top set. And more than anything, my core is like a limiter, so just don't worry about compound exercises. Understand they're very complex. Rico, how's it going? Rico, thanks for tuning in. Jonathan, hello, Steve. How is the app development going, and what can we expect? The app development is going great. I had a conversation with my partner on Saturday. I forgot what day it was. I think it was Sunday, yeah. What we are doing is we are building an app that's going to be specifically for lifters, right? We're not general fitnessing things here. We're gonna build an app that you can track workouts in the gym. It's going to be the best, most intuitive for tracking workouts in the gym. We're going to have progression approaches. We're going to have charts. We're going to have the ability to comb through analytics. How is my bench press moving compared to my calorie intake, right? How is my chest strength moving, my chest plus ones, my chest progress compared to my back progress? You'll be able to comb through data on everybody, everything. Like who's getting the best results on what program, right? We're going to take the raw data. We're not going to, put your name or your specific data public, but imagine comparing like the results, the plus ones, the chest progress, drill down wherever you want on a full body versus an upper posterior versus a torso limbs versus a push-pull legs on men aged 43, right? That are bulking. We want to be able to help you provide information that can help you kind of consider new things, right? And we're going to have really good analytics. We're going to have the best tracking. And we're looking at in a couple months having a functional app. And again, one of the limitations of training apps, whether you're a coach looking to coach with a training app or just somebody that wants to track your workouts, is a lot of these apps suck balls. They're put together, excuse my honesty, but they're put together by guys that don't actually have the passion for muscle and strength building. And we're not trying to go broad, right? We're going for the muscle and strength builders, you guys. We're going to keep our focus on you guys. We're going to give you the best data, the best ability to track, the best ability to monitor. And we have all other, once we get that nailed, then we're going to add in social components, the ability to follow somebody, maybe like on an Instagram, you can follow somebody and see their pictures and their workouts and their posts and things like that. So that's my vision. But first, we really want to nail down the key, the cornerstone is nailing down workout tracking. That's going to be the cornerstone. And from there, we're going to have all good things added onto there. But we're looking at a couple months. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of hiccups and things along the way that can slow it down. We're not trying to rush. We're trying to do it right. But we actually have the basic flow and the basic dynamics of how the app is going to work down. Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne? Thanks for tuning in. John, Big Hairy Dude, what are your general guidelines for weight increase on compound versus isolation? Minimum, always minimum. Minimum. Don't try, you're not going to speed up the process by doing 10-pound jumps over 5. You're just going to crash into a wall more quickly. Allow your connective tissue to strengthen. Allow everything to strengthen naturally. Take your time. There's no rush. Even if you want to get crazy strong, you're not going to expedite that by adding 10 pounds on your bench when you hit your progression indicators. If anything, you're going to make it tougher because you're taking such aggressive jumps. So minimum weight for progression. Trust the process. What you doing, buddy boy? That's going to allow for the most smoothest transitions. Big Tim from Team Massive, thanks for joining in. Buddy boy is really needy today. What you want, buddy boy? You don't like the storms? It's very cloudy. I know. Thank you. What's wrong? Okay, thanks for all the kisses. Albert, good morning. Love the new T-shirts. Thank you. Did you have any luck creating one? Not yet. I haven't had time. Yesterday, last weekend, I had a lot of client workouts, and my wife had a lot of things going on. So we will try. I'm going to try to get around to that. Soy sauce banana. If I gain weight only on the weekends, no. That's just, I'm not being hard on you, soy sauce, but that's just stupid. And I'm just being honest. That's stupid and ineffective. That's what I do. That's called maintenance level. When I'm on maintenance, I live kind of like a monk during the week, and then on the weekends, have a little bit extra fun, and I can keep my weight steady. That's a good way to keep your weight steady, but that's not a bulk. Basically, you're just having a little bit extra booze and tortilla chips on the weekend, and during the week, you're either holding weight or losing weight. That's a recipe for disaster when it comes to gains. Jonathan, I think you mentioned working with Paralympic athletes, and that was humbling for you. Could you share? I worked with Special Olympics in Hamilton County, Ohio. I was their coach, their powerlifting coach, and We went to state, had a team go to state, coached them all the way through state. And I've worked over the years, not just that, but with, I currently work with lifters with disabilities in coaching. I've worked with blind athletes. I've worked with athletes that barely have any cognitive function. I've worked with athletes that were born with severe deformities and had numerous surgeries since birth. I've worked with athletes that had very bad head injuries and were a little bit disabled. I've worked with athletes all over the spectrum. And the only thing I can really say is number one, you learn a lot about the passion for strength. These guys, and I say guys as a general, men and women, they don't think in terms of limitations. Never once do they think in terms of limitations. They are so usually excited about the opportunity to progress and challenge themselves and do things they didn't think were possible, that they are just very aggressive and easy to work with. And some of my guys, I'm not being critical, I'm just being real with you here. Most of my guys in 6 months surpassed the average gym trainee on their lifts. I had a Down syndrome individual, weighed, I don't know, like $120. And dude's like benching 185, man. I mean, that's pretty darn solid for after 6 months. I had another individual with cognitive issues that was pulling close to 500. These guys aren't doing it full time. They're not training like you guys, right? So I've had one of my guys, Nick, just a great passion for muscle building, but he was born with all kinds of issues, like his limbs, and so many surgeries in his hips, and he was very unbalanced naturally, but he ended up pulling well over 250, 270 at a body weight of like 150. Just an amazing story. So I love working with those guys because, look, there's a lot of great people. I've worked with a lot of great people. But when it comes to Special Olympians and special needs, I've never had one person bitch, make excuses, worry about limitations. And it's refreshing in that sense, because no matter who you are and what line of work, fitness, whatever your line of work is, right, there's always people that walk around with a cloud over their head. And sometimes, many times, it's self-inflicted, right? So working with people that don't have a cloud over their head, that you're just able to focus on what you can control, is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It has nothing to do with disabilities or no disabilities. In a sense, we all have limitations and disabilities, but it is the attitude, the appreciation for the opportunity, the not wasting time, not making excuses, right, that I appreciated the most. And you know what? The guys are so full of love, so full of love and appreciation. And we were just a team, man. We were just a team. It was a good thing. I'll show you a picture real quick if you got a second. Hold on. I'm just loading it up, so don't go anywhere. Hold on. I'll show you a quick picture. If I can get, Facebook wants to ask if it can show me notifications. Okay, hold on. We got a picture coming up. I just did a search. Photos posted by you. Okay, so let me just, buddy boy, you're going to have to go away. My dog's just going crazy right now. My dog just absolutely wants to come up on my lap. All right, let's share screen. Present, share screen. So let me remove that. That's Nick, who I was just talking about. I'll pull like, I don't know, 270 or something. That's some of my crew down below. Not everybody from my crew, but that's some of my crew. And let's see. We got a couple more pictures I can show you, and then we'll move on. That's my crew right there. These are my guys right here. That's Mike on the far left, and John next to him, and then Nick to my right, and just really good guys. The gentleman on the far right John had very, very limited cognitive function, but he loves strength training, and we still just had a blast. There was one of my major guys I'm missing from the crew, but we had Team Massive powerlifting. All right. Where was we? Why does it's raining outside? So if we get, it's pouring outside. Why does the average person my dogs are barking, only have 2 presses in their, why does the average program only have 2 presses in their upper workouts? Well, really, if you look at the course of a week or training volume for a week for your pressing, we have horizontal pressing against the horizon, which is the bench press. And we have vertical pressing. And we're looking at the major compounds here. A quality program is going to have probably a good starting point is 2 major horizontal presses, like a dumbbell bench and a barbell bench variation, and then a dumbbell and barbell overhead press variation. That's where I start from. So we have 2 a week, basically, is the goal or the starting point. And then you could add in other things. You can add in a plate loaded chest press or an iso chest press, which I like to do, or you can add in dips, which is basically a press. You can add in a shoulder press. So you can add in more if it fits, your programming, but usually that's why. Leaving chest and shoulders under volume? No, not at all. Now, are you saying, I just want to make sure I understand you, they only have 2 presses. Like if a workout, here's where I'm confused. If a workout only has 2 presses per upper workouts, are you saying per upper workout? Because there's going to be 2 uppers per week, and that leaves us with 4 presses. So I'm not sure what you mean, but we don't want to do all presses. We don't want to do all compound movements. Number 1, that would be unbearable and punishing. Number 2, it would take forever, and it's not very sustainable. But Bob, feel free to clarify if I missed anything or misread anything. Big Howie, happy Friday. Come and join Team Massive, teammassiveiron.com. If you're not part of the team, what are you doing with your life anyway, right? Seriously. Come get off Facebook and Instafart and Twitter and Tutor or X or whatever the hell it is. Come be part of a community, a lifting community that you're going to find motivation. You're going to find new friends. You're going to find information. Come join. Happy Friday. I did come and join Team Massive. I did, and it was great. A couple weeks getting to dive into all the knowledge. Thank you, and I appreciate you being part of the community. Marnix, big hair, ugly dude, buddy, booty. I guess you could call me booty if you want to get all booty. If I would to become a client for, let's say, a bulking season, what do I have to report on? My clients, the only thing mandatory I require from first off, I check in on my clients 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Not a check-in once a week guy. I have no hate towards coaches that do that, but I'm a full-time coach. I don't have time to just check in once a week and try to comb through all your workouts and figure out what the hell goes on. I want to stay in touch with you daily. In fact, before I jumped on, I have a new client that isn't sending workout reports and isn't communicating daily. I let everybody know on the phone. I want you to check my training app every single day. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, but I want you to check every single day. It's only going to take 2 minutes. If you can't do that, you're not going to get results. And I want to coach people that want results. So that's the bare minimum. You got to check the app every day. I might have a question. Again, it's not going to take a lot of time. I'm not trying to soak everybody's time, but I am, I coach full time. I want to help people. I'm serious, and I'm not, excuse my language, but I'm not here to fuck around. Number one, people that aren't serious waste my time, and they waste their time. I got to keep checking in and calling them on the phone and texting them on the phone and fucking around with them on the phone and just trying to get them to submit workouts. And while I appreciate their business, what are we doing? So I don't want that. I want people that want to check in daily. It's only going to take 2 minutes. You have to, I want weight at least a couple times a week. We can be flexible on that. But we can't monitor a bulk if we're not monitoring your weight. So one of the things I make mandatory for clients is a weight on Monday and Friday. And I want a workout report the same day you work out. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you write down your workout on a training log, take a photo. If you use an app, take a screenshot. All you have to do is upload it. I can look through the numbers. I can see, I might have a couple questions. But if I can't see workout reports and I can't see weight, I can't coach. On my end as a coach, what I am looking at when I look at a client every single day is workout reports. I'm combing through numbers, looking for anything unusual, trying to push them along in certain areas. So I'm looking at efforts. I'm looking at workout reports. I'm looking at progress plus ones. I'm looking at nutrition, weight. And clients can send one exercise form video a day. I want to look at exercise form on everything if I can, because what good is having a coach if you don't know if even your dumbbell curls or dumbbell overhead press are in a good place, right? And a lot of times, maybe 2/3 of the time, a client will submit a video and looks great. It'd be really easy to knee jerk and go, well, that was a waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time. It was a good quality investment of time, because now your dumbbell press doesn't suck, or your dumbbell curl doesn't suck. Because one thing I can tell you guys, I've been training in a commercial gym again, is when I go there, I am literally like, what the living fuck am I looking at? And excuse my language, but you guys know what I'm saying. When you go to a commercial gym, there's a lot of shenanigans and bad form and bouncy this and English that. And I'm not being critical of people, but when you have a coach, at least okay, my curl is looking good. My squat needs some work. You know where you stand, right? You know where your strong points are. You know where you're going to improve. So minimum, I need weight twice a week from clients. I need workout reports. And I want clients that care, that communicate, that are passionate about lifting, that I don't have to, continue to text, hey, come back to the training app and how are things going, buddy, right? And I'm not being sarcastic, but, I want to work with people that want results. There's nothing more frustrating as a coach. And this doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often, but invariably you always have a few people that that sign up for coaching and realize it wasn't a good fit. But that's all I really need. Somebody that wants to check the app daily. Stein, how's it going? Stein, happy Friday. In the massive iron world, how would you categorize where someone is in terms of, I don't like that stuff, right? I just don't. Yeah, I understand people want to know where they stand, but it's more complex. I see guys with a 315 squat, and their squat looks like a train wreck. It'd be easy to just tack a number on it. But, it's more about, are you consistent? Because if you're not serious, you're not anything, right? I don't care what your strength levels are. If you're not consistent with your training or tracking or nutrition, you're not a novice, you're not an intermediate, you're not an advanced, you're not serious is what you are. So First thing I look for is a lifter serious, right? Are you serious? There's no hate if you're not serious, right? Um, there's no shame if you're not serious. We can do things for fun and we're still getting in activity, right? It's okay for people to lift and get in activity and not be serious about muscle and strength because they're still taking care of their body to some degree. And I have nothing but respect for that. Nothing. Okay, so, but if you are serious about muscle and strength, then you have to be, what I look for is, are they tracking? Are they consistent? Do they give a damn about their nutrition? If not, they're not serious. If you guys don't care about your nutrition, you're not serious. And I'm not going to apologize because you're not. You're playing games. You're playing pretend. You want to go to the gym and push around your benchy wenchy, but you have no idea where your calories are. You're not, backing your training optimally with nutrition. Look, if I have somebody that wants to become a world-class athlete, wants to become a pro baseball player and they're in the minors, or wants to become a pro football player and they're in college football, or wants to be in the Olympics for jiu-jitsu or whatever the game is, if that person is not serious about their nutrition and they're just serious about their training, their head isn't in the game, right? So you might say, well, what does this have to do with me? I don't want to be a world-class athlete. If you want to have muscle and strength, like most of us want to have muscle and strength at a level that is super respectable. We don't necessarily want to be, as strong as power lifters. We don't necessarily want to reach our natty potential or striving to reach our natty potential. But most of us would like to be around 75 to 80% of that. And I'm telling you what, you have to be serious to get there. You do. You can go a little bit. You can go a country mile, just with the basics and being inconsistent, but that's gonna peter out, really, really quickly. So I don't worry about novice, intermediate, and advanced. I know an advanced lifter. An advanced lifter has been lifting for a very long time. Their form is down, and when you see them in the gym, they're like a force of nature training, and they have the ability to adjust their own training. They have instincts about what works and what doesn't for them. And they don't run around on social media going, what would an advanced program look like, right? And I'm not being hateful here, but if somebody has to ask what an advanced program would look like, they're not an advanced lifter. That's just a reality. Advanced lifters have been going long enough where they trust their instincts. They know what works and doesn't work for them. They know what puzzle pieces to keep off the board. They might still need help. Seeing things they can't see, which is a good thing, but they know enough to be able to self-program. So you have kind of the raw fish that just aren't taking it seriously, and you have the advanced lifters, and everybody else, is on a spectrum, and it's far too complex. I see a lot of guys that work very hard that have really awful form on squats and deadlifts. Or mediocre form or form in process. And that's okay because they're seeking help. What I think is a telltale sign of somebody that's going to flounder and staying beginner, never really reaching intermediate stages, someone that doesn't take form seriously enough to get help. Someone that continues to make crappy programs and never takes time to understand the bigger picture of programming, right? So those guys are their own worst enemy. They're doing this self-programming monstrosity. I've even seen guys deadlift 600 pounds that are just a train wreck on form, like cringe. It's rare, but I see it. These guys are strong. They work hard. They got a great work ethic, but they're going to end up hurt. So they're, would you consider them an advanced lifter just because they're pulling 600 pounds? No. I'd consider them lucky, right? An outlier. So I don't like to get into that. I don't like to get into novice, intermediate, advanced type of stuff, but that's my general thoughts. All I care about is that you're crushing it. You're crushing consistency and the passion is there. Because if you are not, if you don't have the passion and you're not crushing uh, consistency and nutrition and training, um, you know, you're we're not going to put you down, but you're not a serious lifter. You're a recreational fitness enthusiast, which is okay. It's good. I would rather have recreational fitness enthusiasts that are just training to take care of their body. That's a glorious thing, especially in the obesity epidemic. Man, I walk into a gym and I see shenanigans all over the place, right? Guys cat back deadlifting, doing all kinds of bouncy benches. And it's easy to be sarcastic and cynical. Yes, part of me worries they're going to get injured. Part of me weeps internally in a metaphorical sense that they're not getting the gains they want and they don't know it. But I'm not going to stick my beak in their business, right? But at the end of the day, they're in the gym and they're doing some physical activity, albeit sometimes dangerous, but that's still better, healthier in a general sense than sitting on the couch with a pile of your excuses next to you. HB and Albert, I'm going to give you something. You get a t-shirt, a hoodie, a whey, a creatine, whatever you want. Hit me up on Instagram, Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Let me slide that. Hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Albert, I'm going to hook you up since I went on a little bit of a ramble with your question. And hang tough. I might do that with your question next. So I might give away more stuff. Steve, I train with a friend who can't squat. That's okay. But has no issues doing sled work. Sled work, how do I say this? Sled work is more, you're going to have to get pretty complex to get muscle growth out of sleds alone. We have to understand a pump doesn't inherently mean that you're building, right? Because if you're not progressively overloading, you're just temporarily pumping a muscle. And if you do the same thing over and over and over again, you can achieve a pump or fatigue or the accumulation of, what do you call it? I just hit a brain fart in a muscle, when the fatigue, the buildup of, man, I got a brain fart. Can't believe I did this. But that's not an indication of building size. That's just an indication of getting a pump. So if you wanted to build muscle on a single movement like this, it's very, very difficult and very, very complex and very, very unlikely. There needs to be some other exercises in the mix that this individual can do, leg extensions or something. We have to find some other leg exercises that this person can do, if that makes sense. HB clarified, can't squat, lunge, extension. Well, then you got to do the leg press and single leg press. That's going to give you more bang for your buck than sled work, building quads. You have to get some pretty complex and very challenging and very focused sled work for it to build muscle. Not saying it can't be done, but I would have to, if I was going to do it, I would really have to think through my programming. Big Denver. Could you do a live calculation of what some could reach in 3 years of pretty good lifting? Where you start at weight doesn't matter. So based on what we know, and these are not rules, these are guidelines, these are tools to help you understand realistic progress. And when I present these tools, I've never seen anybody smash these tools. Now, before I present these tools, we have to understand that somebody that is extremely underweight can add weight rapidly. So if you take somebody that's 6 foot tall, 128, and they gain 50 pounds in a year, You know how many times I've heard they gain 50 pounds of muscle? No, you gain 50 pounds of body weight. Um, that's not 50 pounds of muscle, right? So anytime anytime an underweight individual brings their body weight up to normal or they normalize their body weight, you hear on the internet, it was all muscle. Like, no, it was not all muscle. So with that said, unless you're underweight, if you're underweight, you could probably put on a little bit more than this. But for the average individual, based on what we know, and this is not pulled out of our ass, this is from some pretty solid research, whether you want to believe it or don't. I don't really care. If you want to believe a fairy tale that you can put on 30 pounds of muscle in a year, believe the fairy tale. But I tend to believe in this because it's what I've seen. The first year of hard training, if everything was done right and perfect and all the boxes were checked and you were magically trained the first year, you'd have the potential to put on about 15 to 16 pounds of muscle. Now, do most people do that? No. You're lucky to put on 8 to 10. If you're lucky, maybe 60% of that. So whatever you have left, you have the potential generally to put on about half of what's left. This is not a rule. This is a general, reasonable guideline. And if any of you want to have a spasm attack, limiting me, okay, go. Any of you guys that want to pull the limiting me game, or just go break it. I don't care. Report back. But anyway, whatever you have left to build, you have the potential to build about half of that in the coming years. So basically a good starting point is the average natural to get close to max potential is can build about 30 to 35 pounds of muscle. That's a lot of muscle. You have the potential to build about half of that every year, half of what you got left. So if you built, let's say you have the potential to gain about 32 pounds of muscle. You'd be like, you're limiting me. Okay, yeah, that would be bigger than me and Jeffrey Verity Schofield and Alpha Destiny. So be limited, right? You poor soul, you're limited. Bald Omni-Man included. So let's say you have the potential to build 32 pounds of mass over the course of your life from a normalized body weight. You could build about 16 pounds. You have the potential to build about 16 pounds the first year. That would leave you with about 16 pounds left. So whatever you have left, you have the potential to build about half of that in the coming year. So if everything was perfect and you were like Mr. Hulk and you nailed everything, you could gain 16, 8, and 4, or about 28 pounds of mass in 3 years, which would be ridiculous. Ridiculous. You'd get up to close to Alpha Destiny speed, my speed, Bald Omni-Man speed. You'd be within 85, 90% of them in 3 years. Most people are not going to do that. They're going to see like 8, 6, 4, which is still good. That's good progress. That would be like 8, 6, and 4. That'd be like 18 pounds of mass in 3 years. That's damn good progress. That's a lot of muscle mass. From there, you're probably going to spend 3, 4, 5 years, trying to get yourself up to 90% of your potential. So I hope that helps a little bit. Dumbbells and donuts. I do calf raises at home using dumbbells. That's fine. Once I've maxed out my dumbbells, what I would recommend is looking into rocking calf raises. You can hold a barbell in front of you, and you can rock up on your toes, rock back to your heels, rock up on your toes. You can do those for a lot of high volume. Those are a really good option. I don't want you to put the barbell on your back because you're going to get a lot of shoulder stress and it's just going to be uncomfortable. But you can do a lot of rest pause or general calf raise, rocking calf raise using a barbell. So instead of buying weighted vest stuff, you could also buy a safety squat bar, but those would probably be a better overall investment than getting a weighted vest. What relationship advice would you give 20-year-olds? Don't play the insecurity game. Like, oh my God, someone broke up with me, that's the end of the world. I'm never going to be in another relationship again. It's nonsense, right? You see the end of the world, like you see the end of the world stuff a lot when you're younger, and it's nonsense. It's not true. It's not reality. The best advice I can give you guys is find somebody that's motivated in life. Motivated. Um, Number one, find somebody motivated. You do not want to be tethered with a slug. You do not want to be tethered with somebody that has no dreams and no big goals. You want to be with a firecracker. You want to be with somebody that wants to do something and get something out of this damn life, an adventure. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a parent, but at the end of the day, you got to be more than a parent. You have to have something beyond just being a parent. It's okay just to be a parent, but there's got to be some other things that excite you in life, right? And my best advice is to really consider somebody that is more aggressive than you. For trying to find somebody more aggressive, more motivated, and you'll rise to their level. Um, and number two, uh, wait for somebody that feels effortless or as effortless as it can get. You shouldn't have to work at pulling things out of people. You shouldn't have to work so hard that it becomes just an elaborate strain. You know, it's somebody where it feels more effortless, and you know, just someone you can laugh and have fun with and adventure with. And look, in the long, like we're all here about health and fitness. Don't I don't care how good the sex is when you're a kid. I don't care how big the kajungas are when you're a kid, or whatever direction you're swinging, right? We don't even care. We don't care. But I don't care how good the stuff is, right? How beautiful a person is, how pristine they are, how perfect they are in certain body parts, how great the sex is. Um, you know, there's got to be more to it than that. You can like a lot of times young people kind of latch themselves on like, oh, he likes the same songs as I do, right? Or somebody will finally have sex with me, I'm going to stay with them, right? You know, you got to be a little bit more advanced than that. You got to be a little bit. Um, you got to have a bigger, longer, deeper perspective than that. You have to be pickier. You don't just enter a relationship not to be lonely or not to be bored, right? I know it's hard. Some of you are lonely, some of you are bored, some of you would rather just spend time with anybody than with nobody. But you got to be careful with that stuff. You don't want to waste somebody's time, waste somebody's life. Just staying with someone because they're a better option than you being lonely, right? That's not love. That's not a relationship. That's just you fulfilling a need and using someone. So these are all things to think about. Above all else, be patient. It's a long road. And even though time goes quickly, time goes slowly. And there's a lot of days. You go out and do what you love and you be you. And in adventuring and doing what you love in life, you're probably going to find somebody that's on a similar path, right? Finally, if somebody doesn't like you, doesn't like the things you like, they think they're stupid or dumb, you need to distance yourself from that person. That is not a healthy relationship. You do not need somebody in your life mocking you because you love baseball or painting or lifting or cooking or however you like spending your time. That's a silly way to spend your fuck that. Excuse my language. You need to distance yourself from that. Oops, Jesus just entered. Jesus just entered. Jesus, is that you? We have the light of God just entered. Fiona, come here a sec. No, you have to come here. Uh, I want to show my wife. I want my wife to answer this question. Come here. Buddy Boy will answer it. All right. Maybe she'll come. Maybe she won't. Oh, light just went up. All right, ready?
Jesus disappeared.
No, when you turned the light on it, it looked like
Jesus answered, yes.
Okay. So come here for a sec. You got a moment?
Yes.
Okay. I can't have you and that chunk dog up on me.
Come on,
Bobby. Sit
Bobby.
down.
Yeah, we're getting Bobby
You gotta
into
get rolling.
position there.
Whoa, you got
Well, we have
big
to
butts
fit.
on this
We
thing.
have to fit Baba.
Okay, now focus. What relationship advice would you give 20-year-olds?
In general?
Well,
Is it
so.
what they're trying? Are they with somebody or not with somebody?
No, just what advice would you give picking a partner? Someone who looks like me.
Regardless of who you pick, you're gonna grow into your own person because you're way too young. So you pick someone who has common interests and common motivation. It doesn't matter if you have common interests as long as you complement each other. Like if they go and do whatever they want to do and you do it, but you don't want a sloth that sits around. Like if you're an active person, you will become frustrated and go, oh my God, is that all you do? Just sit around. And then also, you're both going to grow into your own people, either together or apart. It depends how you want, but honestly, just have fun. Just have fun with someone. Go and do lots of things. You don't want a sloth or someone who sits and watches television and eats all this food. I wouldn't want that because that would frustrate me. Choose someone who is active, even if they want to do their own thing, but you do things together. But yeah. And you know what's someone grumpy and boring?
One thing I mentioned before you walked in was you see a lot of couples where one partner picks on the interests of the other partner. Like, why do you like that? That's stupid.
Then why be together? Why be with them if you don't like?
In our life, like Fiona has always, she's never criticized my interests. Like when I went out and played music, I think I did like 50 or 60, shows that one year, and you never bitched once.
Well, you embrace it. You just go out there and enjoy it and go, okay, this is a new experience, and I will support the person.
If you don't support the things a person loves, you don't love the person.
But then sometimes you might go with an open mind. Like if they go, oh, I really want to go and do rock climbing, and you're like, I don't really care for that. Try it. Like you might like it. And if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. See, that's not my thing. But like, don't just go, oh, I don't want to try that because I don't know. And you know what? Going to all the open mics, I've never been to them. And sometimes people were like, oh my God, that was boring. But you can make a joke of it and make fun of it and have a good night still.
There are things I love that you don't care for, like I love baseball, and you think it's
boring.
But that's just, you don't criticize.
I still go, sit there for the 9 bits that I have to sit there. Some games are good, but it's always like, and then if it's, and then I'm like, oh, but I just tolerate it. I went to the wrestling. It was okay. It was weird. It's not anything I'm going to go, oh my God, I want to go back again.
We did that as an adventure.
But together. If you wanted to go, I go, okay, let's just hack this out again. But otherwise,
okay.
Yes.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Well, I don't drag you to anything boring.
No, I go because I want to support you and I care.
You go there and we didn't.
And at worst, like when I'm really bored, I just stare at your ass.
Well, sometimes I get bored and I think, oh, get me a goddamn cocktail.
When you get bored, do you stare at my ass or you just get a drink?
I get a drink and go, okay, anything's better with a drink.
Even my ass?
Yes.
You're banished from the island. All right. John.
What's that?
All right. Would you consider yourself a lone wolf? What life advice would you give a 40-year-old? I wouldn't say I'm a lone wolf. I think the older you get, the more you have to be able to filter out, your friend pool. I mean, because I don't really want anybody that's not headed in the same direction. So I have fewer and fewer friends. bad friends. I'll put it that way. But I got a lot of people that I care about. I'm always involved in the community. We run teammassiveiron.com. We do all kinds of, social type events. My wife's always around people. We're part of clubs and organizations, and we did charity work, Special Olympics work. Not a lone wolf, but the older you get, the more you have to tighten your shot group and keep the noise out of your life. Because the greatest thing in life, one of the greatest tragedies in life is when things waste your time. Time is the greatest gift we have. It's the greatest commodity we have. And we have to learn over the age of 40 to remove things that steal our time, because we're working, we got all the stress and we got all the things going on. We have to do yard work and maintain the house, maintain our laundry, whatever we're doing, right? So we want to reduce people that steal our time and people that steal our energy. We have what are called life suckers and life givers, right? So a life sucker is somebody that sucks your energy. You're like, dread being around them. A life giver is somebody around that inspires you, motivates you, or you just like being around. So we have to learn to filter out things that steal our time and people that steal our energy. Does that make sense? Also, how long does it usually take for a person to actually look like they lift? If you can't do so in 2 years, like lose the fat, pack on 10 pounds of muscle, that alone, like losing 20 pounds of fat, packing on 10 pounds of muscle. I know that's a generic proclamation, but that alone is going to make you look different. It depends on how much you want to look like you lift. There's a lot of guys at the gym that I go to that look like they lift, but you tend to have to be a little bit leaner or super strong. So if you need help, John, just come join Team Massive Iron or let me help you out. I mean, that's what I'm here for. A lot of us, in the lifting world, and look, my coaching services stay pretty much full. I always have somebody coming in, coming out. That's just kind of the nature of coaching. Most of my people stand for 6 months to, I've had people on going on 6 years now. Most of my people stay on longer than 6 months. But like what I'm trying to get at is in the lifting world, a lot of us will easily spend money on testosterone or a whey protein, where there's nothing wrong with that. Protein bars. We'll spend $150, $200 a month on our level of fitness, but we never consider a coach, to help us get on track. So the only thing I would advise you guys to do is, if you're serious, don't just take a coach. Try to find somebody that coaches professionally and give them a try. Watch out for long-term commitments. I have a 3-month minimum commitment, simply because you don't want to do all the work on the first month and then have somebody jump off. And I want somebody that wants to at least be committed for 3 months so we can do one proper bulk or cut cycle. But get up to speed quickly, man. I mean, as quickly as you can. And if you can, find a coach or a good community to help you do so. All right, we are about an hour in, and we're going to keep rolling as long as you guys have questions. I will keep rolling along. It's shoulder day for me, but I'll get it when I get it. Just a reminder before we get moving, please head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Follow me, slide into my DM if you have questions. I do Q&As over there weekly, so you can follow the Q&As over there. If you need coaching, workouts, whey protein, I got some really cool apparel. Check out my website, superlivingaday.com. And please join teammassiveiron.com. All right, let's get on. Where were we? Let me find where we were at. What's going on, buddy boy? Big hairy ugly dude. I've been doing a legs push pull lately, and have been feeling fatigued. That's okay. Do you think it would make sense to swap? If you're feeling fatigued, it's generally not the program. It's probably the weekly volume. I'd need to know more, but if you're doing it as an endless rotation and not taking enough rest days, you probably need to start with more rest days. This is a hard question to answer because I need to know more, but you're going to need a rest day at least after your pull before your legs day. And if you're feeling fatigued, the next step I would recommend for you is to probably not just switch it around, but to maybe do an upper posterior or a 4-day type of split and see if that helps with your general fatigue. And the word fatigue here trips me up a little bit because it's okay to feel fatigued at the end of a workout. That's the goal. You want to feel worked. So I think we need to clarify a little bit. Are you feeling fatigued throughout the day, like you're under recovering? If so, how's your sleep and nutrition? Or are you just feeling fatigued at the end of a workout? All right. I'm your dad. What's your superpower? Any tips for overcoming weak mindsets? Well, the first thing you want to do when it comes to, hold on, I got to send my wife a message. Real quick. All right, so weak mindset. The first thing you need to do is plan. You need to plan. You need to put together a plan. You need to put together a structure. If you can't get your lazy butt to put together a plan or a structure, there's no hope for you, right? So a weak mindset is one thing. Cultivating discipline requires a structure. You can't hang your hat on air, right? So you can't be like, I'm going to wake up into the magic fairyland where discipline, like motivation and discipline are just going to appear out of nowhere, right? You have to have a plan to hang your hat on. You have to have a structure to hang your day on. If you can't get off your lazy patooski and create a plan or a structure, you can't expect results. And this goes down to everything. If you have trouble losing weight, you need to start planning some meals you can eat. You need to get them in the house. If you can't do that, you're not serious. No one can do that for you, right? If you can't take those minimum steps, there's no hope. So you have to come to that realization. I have to plan. If I want discipline and motivation and I want change, if I can't even find 10 seconds of not be a lazy, not be a lazy bastard and make a plan, then excuse my honesty, but you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. No one can do that for you. No one can motivate you to unfuck yourself. At some point, all good things start with an investment of 10 to 15 minutes a week. And you have to be honest with yourself. And you know what? When you're in the little boo-boo corner, when you're in the, my life sucks, I'm a fat ass, right? When you're in the boo-boo corner, maybe tomorrow, right? My muscles suck, right? Right? When you're in the boo-boo corner, you're feeling all sorry for yourself, all down on yourself. Your life sucks. You look like a fat sack of mud in a garbage bag. You can't stop eating pizza. You can't stop drinking beer. And you want like all these changes in your life. What you have to do in those little moments where you feel like a boo-boo baby.
I feel like a boo-boo baby.
Is you have to be honest with yourself. I'm a fat sack of shit. I'm a fat sack of crap because my lazy fat fucking ass can't spend 10 minutes to plan my day.
So get a wiener dog. They'll make you
Thank
smile.
All right, thank you. That's really what it comes down to. When you're in the boo-boo baby moments, you have to remind yourself, I need to do something, right? You need to train yourself. I'm in the boo-boo baby moment. I need to do something, not whine, not wait for the magic discipline fairy to turn up. Do something. No one can do it for you. Remind yourself, I feel like a fat sack of crap. Do something. You're going to sit in a little corner like a little bitch baby? What's that going to accomplish? At least be honest with yourself. I'm sitting in the corner like a bitch baby. I'm like, my life's a mess. Right? My life's a mess. Do fucking something about it. You have to see, you're going to sit in the corner like a boo-boo baby. You say, I put myself here, and I'm keeping myself here because I won't do something about it. It's not hard to take action and make a plan. Sticking to the plan's a lot harder, but if you cannot make a plan, well, you have no reason to expect change. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. How low are you in life that you can't even make a plan? Right? Your life is a flaming dumpster fire, and your body looks like a pile of shit and mud packed in an old garbage bag with pants on, and you can't even make a plan. Your whole life is going down in flames, and you're depressed and you're anxious and you look like shit and you feel like shit, and you're waiting for the motivation fairy to show up, and you can't even make a plan. You need to come to grips with the fact that you are your own worst enemy. Fuck weak mindsets. Fuck all this shit. Make a plan. Right? Stop getting so deep in the weeds. Like, how do I develop a strong mindset? First, you need to fucking develop a plan. Everything starts with a plan. No one's just going to show up. You've been granted a strong mindset, sir. Right? No one's going to do that. You have to do the first step. Your eating is crap. My eating's crap. I'm turning into a fat tub of lard. Okay. Make a plan. Step 1. What's one thing I can stop putting in my fat fucking mouth? That just took me 5 seconds. Cheddar chips. Okay, I'm not going to eat cheddar chips anymore. I'm going to remove that out this week. Maybe you slot something else in. Eat all the damn beef jerky you want. Eat all the gravy. You got to at least make a plan, right? What's bringing you down? You're going to make a plan to fight it? So chasing strong mindsets and, fuck cultivating discipline. Well, number one, I know you're on Team Massive, and you need to get over there and get interactive, right? Tell somebody your struggle. Have somebody kick you in the balls. We'll kick you in the balls and make you stick to a plan. But look, guys, I don't mean to ramble on forever here, but if you don't have a plan, you're not serious, and you don't have a right to bitch. And I want you to repeat that. If I don't have a plan, I'm not serious, and I don't have a right to bitch. I do not have a right to bitch. I do not have a right to bitch. And I can't find time to make a plan. Bullshit. That is the lamest fucking excuse. Excuse my language. The lamest excuse. That's the excuse of somebody that's quit on life. that's given up? What are you living for? What's your motivation? I mean, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Wasting days? I'm not saying for you specifically. I'm just saying in general. What are we doing with our lives, right? Why are we wasting days? This is a gift. And we're going to fuck it off, eating like a fucking fat ass, never accomplishing anything. We're just mouths that just put things in. I feel depressed today. Right? Come on. We got to be bigger than that. We have to be bolder than that. We have to be about something. We have to be about something other than putting fucking food in our fucking holes. Come on, guys. Get your shit together. I mean, get a fucking plan down on paper. I'm so tired of excuses. And look, anytime I say that, I want you to know I am harder on my excuses than I am on yours. I guarantee it. I'll drag my ass to the gym. I remember Monday, I couldn't even barely stay awake. I'm feeling sleepy driving to the damn gym. I'm no superhero, but I don't tolerate my own bullshit. What are you about? What are you doing with your life? Where's your passion? Where's your fire? If you can't find the fire to make a fucking plan, you need to do so. You need to do a gut check, sir. Something's dead. You need to raise the dead. What died in you, and what can we do to bring you back to life? Make a plan, go do something, be about something, find something that motivates and stirs you, find something that gets you going. The worst thing we can do is just waste this time. Don't waste this time. Don't waste this time. My job is centered on people and interacting with them. Often that means meals. In social contexts, I tend to overeat. I don't. I'm just being real with you. That's an excuse. When I go out, I eat what I want to eat because I fucking want to eat it. I don't owe anybody an apology, and my job isn't to eat fried onion rings just because I have to eat with somebody. I don't need to explain it, but no job should force you to abuse yourself. They're not forcing you to abuse yourself. Maybe you need a different job. Put together a plan, man. Put together a plan. Where are you going to go? What you going to eat? Every restaurant will basically serve you down to the trivial. You want a hamburger without a bun? They'll give you a hamburger without a bun. You can even do that on Grubhub. Be about that. And why are you overeating? Overeating is a whole different context. That's a habit, right? You have to have rules in place. This is what I'm going to choose, and I'm not going to bring more food to the table than my fat ass needs to eat. I'm not holier than thou, but when we go out to eat, we do not order fried food. We do not order appetizers. Very rarely. I did 2 weeks ago. I got eggs with candied bacon on top. It was an egg. Splurging, right? But I don't order fat Cokes. We don't order alcohol. We don't get bread. We don't get appetizers. We don't even get the damn salad you don't even want to eat with the dressing you don't want to eat. No one died. No one having a heart attack. Just eating to take care of myself. You know what? You're using it as an excuse. I legit hate every rear delt isolation. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things I hate in training, but we still got to do it. I'm not saying you need to do rear delt isolations. There's periods of time where I didn't do them and just did rows. But I just want you to understand the bigger picture that some things we hate, we probably should still do. Rear delts, you know, that's a call. I don't do a lot of ab work, calf work. Rear delts, I've kind of neglected, I think, a little bit too much. I'm somebody that likes to row, right? I love to do dumbbell rows and barbell rows and seated cable rows and all the rows. And my rear delts get worked hard, but I still know I should probably be doing the 10 to 20%. So it's really up to you and your goals. I mean, are you trying to be a bodybuilder? You're just trying to get 80%. If you're just trying to get 80%, you really don't need to do them. You don't really need to do the sprinkles on icing on the cake. Calves, abs, rear delts, all that kind of stuff. Power condition. Do you think it's a good idea to go beast mode and put 100 pounds more weight on the bar? That it doesn't work like that. You can't go beast mode and put 100 more pounds on your bar than your max. What approach to warm-up sets do you advise before 3? I have a protocol on warm-ups, and it should be free on Team Massive. If not, remind me. But I have a PDF on warm-up set. Really lays out. If you go over to my website, for those of you guys watching that aren't on Team Massive, there is a. I'm going to see if I can find the video because I believe it's in a video for free. But on my website, superlivingtoday.com, you can search warm-ups, right? And you can buy the warm-up tool. I don't know, $4.99 or whatever. But I put together, let me get past the advertisement here and I'll show you guys the video. This video, I want to show you guys this video because it has the chart right live on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to present. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to show you guys how to get this information for free. And then if you want to join Team Massive, or the name of the video on my channel is How to Warm Up Properly for Big Compound Movements. Look, I'm wearing the same hat and shirt. There's hoodie. How to warm up properly for big compound movements. Now on the right, you see the PDF, and I'm showing everybody if they want to copy. But all the information is here. Let me fast forward it to the chart. So here's the chart, right? You have the weight on the left-hand column in the yellow. So let's say that's your starting weight. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doesn't matter if it's a triple, doesn't matter if it's a 10-rep set. The warm-up sets, doesn't matter if it's a squat, deadlift, bench. The warm-up sets are a generic guideline is right there on the right. So check that video out, how to warm up properly for big compound movements. If you want the PDF, it's also available at superlivingtoday.com. All right, where were we? One of the things you'll find is that most of any of these questions that you want more information on, you can basically go over to YouTube, my main page, and search, and you're going to find probably a wealth of information. I've been doing this forever. More information than I could ever cover in a video. Have you seen the new Chinese research? Drinking your own urine raises a man's testosterone. That just lowered my testosterone, curiously enough. Super Obinatore. Probably not. Have you seen the news research? It says that drinking your own urine raises a man's tests. Have you seen the new research in Asia that says eating pieces of coal? Okay, here's what we do. We give you a time out. Very, very complicated. And we put user in a timeout. Where are we? Where we go? Harut, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Do you think the physique of Scooby can be achieved in a home gym? Well, I mean, it depends on what equipment you have. If you have a base level equipment, yeah. If you have a base level of equipment, absolutely. You know, if you have an unreasonable degree of equipment, no. You know, like, but I would want a barbell, some dumbbells, maybe a cable station. You could do a lot with that. You could do pretty much. I mean, if you're gonna commit to a home gym in the long run, you want to make sure that you at least give yourself a chance to succeed. You're gonna have to spend a little bit of money. There are shortcuts, obviously, but you're gonna have to get a minimum degree of equipment. And if you get like just a simple cable station, some dumbbells, a barbell, you're pretty much gonna have a lot of tools to do all you want. If you train hard for 1 year, how long would it take to lose all of those gains? Well, most people are only going to get like, if in a great, awesome scenario, 8 to 10 pounds of mass in a year. And if you go cold for like 6 months, you're probably going to lose most of that. Big Hairy Ugly Dude, what do you like most about Team Massive Iron? The community, the sense of community that we can all gather each day with different thoughts, ideas, struggles, personal problems, whatever, and we just listen and support to whatever degree we can. We're a team, we're a unit. And one of the things about community that isn't talked about enough in the modern world is the importance of community on mental health. People that feel detached from a community tend to be more depressed and anxious. They tend to feel not a part of something in life. So community is very important for me. Team Massive is not something I do for money. I put all my information for free on Team Massive. And we have to have a gatekeeping fee to keep out the riffraff and the trolls and the nonsense. And it costs me like $200 a month just for the web name and server space and the platform. So whatever I basically bring in, from micro fees for those that join, just supports the platform itself. I don't make any money off of it. So that's what I enjoy. What I always like is involvement. There are things that Team Massive I wish could do better. No platform's perfect. I wish there was a better way to do training logs. I really, really do. So I'm always looking for ways to improve it, and it really comes down to what the community thinks. Big Power Condition. Have you seen New Cali movie about? No, I have not. What is a realistic target for arm size? Well, generally, I hate to be super generalized, but an inch a year is at that level is a really good goal. Going from 13 to 14, 14 to 15. And after you get there, you're looking at maybe an inch to 3/4 of an inch. But wherever you're at, that's a good goal. How do you decide whether to program +1 or +2 on a rep goal for progression? Usually it's almost always +2. 99% of the cases I do +2. +1, like what he means is general like straight sets. Let's say you're doing pendley rows and you're doing straight sets, 3 sets of 8. We're going to have the last set max safe reps. If you hit 9 on the last set and then you bump weight, you're probably going to dip a little bit more than if you hit 10 on the last set. It's going to be slight, but the nuances seem trivial, but really that +2 is the way to go in almost every case. 22-inch arms naturally. Yep. Thank you for everything. Thank you, sir. Which IFBB pro and athletes would you say are attainably natural? None. I've never seen an IFBB physique that's attainably natural. I mean, as far as I understand, and I don't follow things closely, but I've been around the game long enough. The IFBB doesn't drug test, as far as I'm aware. I've been around these athletes, and I know some of them. I know some of them. They've been in my office. I made content with them. I know some of the champions. I know 2 people, not good friends, but I've worked with them. One has been a Mr. Olympia, 212 or whatever. One has been a men's physique champion. And I know the men's physique champion takes a bump. I know he takes a bump. He's like 5-10 pounds bigger than me. I just know they take a bump. I don't think any of them are attainable. If you find an IFBB pro athlete that's attainable naturally, I'd be surprised. Not trying to burst anybody's bubbles, but I don't know any of them that are attainable naturally. Richard, have a great weekend. You too. Join Team Massive. Please do. Who are good examples of a goal of what to attain naturally? Alpha Destiny, Bald Omni-Man, Jeffrey Verity, Schofield, all great examples. And, there are some natural bodybuilding federations. There's no love for these federations, not even in the natty world, really. There's really no love for the natural bodybuilding federations. Some people do it. You might see it come across your feed a little bit, but there's no love. There's no exposure. There's no real exposure. We're not saying, hey, this are the real results of the novice class, right? Go see one of these shows. Gain some perspective. Go watch the open classes of a tested show. You're going to see guys 168, 172 in weight, 174. And you're going to see what it looks like naturally. And find the natural federations. Like beyond what we just watch in YouTube. I spent a lot of my time and life and energy interviewing these guys over the course of my life. Natural bodybuilders, natural federations, going to natural shows. So when people laugh or mock me or, my information, I've been at the shows, right? I've been with the competitors. I've filmed them. I've documented them. I've interviewed them. I've done everything. A lot of the names that are big natural names in the history of the sport, I've interviewed, in these federations. So the only advice I have is, as a community, we should spend some time at least making friends or following some of these natural federations or bodybuilders, not just the YouTubers, but bodybuilders on social media. What are your thoughts on using a minimal strength approach? Well, I wouldn't do that for deadlift. Bench is a little more forgiving. I wouldn't do that for squat. I mean, I worked at daily max when I was at my strongest, but that was a single, double, triple, or quad. and it gets pretty perilous. But I did it for a peak, right? I did it during a 4 to 5 month peak. So I think it's okay on the squat can get a little bit dangerous, but bench, would I do it every time? No, probably every other time, working up to a double or triple, or maybe a quad, and then doing back down sets. Why haven't you joined Team Massive Iron? TeamMassiveIron.com. Thank you. Can we do a Zoom call? I can do live videos on Team Massive. I'll try to do one this weekend. MCM. Last one I did only had like 7 people, so I do sneak them in occasionally. For someone like you who's been lifting for such a long time, how often do you hit PRs? Well, I'm bouncing back, into territory that I used to be at when I was really big. Like on Penley rows, I'm doing 315 for 3 sets of 5. When I was a Chubblard, really big, I was able to do 405 by 5. So I'm still hitting PRs, but I'm trying to grind back the stuff that I was at when I was 346 pounds, if that makes sense. I get PRs. I hit 315 for 17 on dumbbell bench, but they're current PRs, right? I haven't really trained this hard in 5 years, so I'm hitting current PRs. The problem, like with some of these lifts, is they don't have dumbbells heavy enough. So I just hit like 115s for 17 at the gym I'm at, but there's no 120s, right? There's no 125s. It goes all the way up to 150. So I'm going to have to take my wrist weights. I need to start posting in Team Massive. Yes, you do. Paul from Perth. How you doing, Paul? Thanks for tuning in. Get involved, Ben. Don't lurk. I'm never going to force anybody to be a part of, Team Massive, but, sometimes the guys that are a member of Team Massive message me on Instagram. I'm like, psh, psh, why don't you do that on Team Massive? Steve, got my Massive Iron t-shirt in the mail. Thanks again. High quality. It looks great. Thank you. I'm glad you got it. And I hope it fits good. If it doesn't, let me know. I'll always swap that out for you guys. You only missed 3 Q&As in 3 years? I think so. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love what I do, and I appreciate you guys' support. Thoughts on soy? I haven't spent a lot of time in the soy world. I've tried a couple of pea proteins. They taste like sand. I don't know that I've ever tried a soy protein that I can recall. Maybe I have. I just simply can't recall it. And I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert on something that I don't know much about. So if anybody has any opinion, feel free to share it. Can you summarize your views on alcohol? Well, first off, if you're going to drink a lot, you probably really don't want to train the next day. And I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to put down rules or set standards or whatever. But if you drink too much, and that happens in life for some of us, you want to probably drink before you go to bed, have some water before you go to bed, wake up, have water, hydrate, get your electrolytes in, get a good meal in, and rest and sleep, because your body has been to a degree poisoned and it needs some recovery. Social drinking, I've never found any issue. Training. Back in the running days during the pandemic, we would drink 3 or 4 IPAs that night and go out and run 2 hours the next morning. I've never found an issue when I'm moderating or social drinking. It's going to have no real impact on hypertrophy. So to answer your question in the moderate recreational sense, it's going to be different for everybody. I mean, I'm older, but I don't notice any difference at all. I don't have any views on anything other than if you're drinking 7 days a week, you're probably not interested in optimal health. And that's not a criticism. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, excuse my language, to quote the Hodge twins. Not my place to judge, and I know that sounds very, like virtual signally, but I really don't care. Life is hard. You do you. I'm going to do me. I don't have headspace and time to worry about what you're doing. But I will say, if you want to be healthy, if you're drinking 7 days a week, it's probably not a good idea. If you want to lose weight and you think you can drink a lot, you're a little bit delusional. Why does the back that consists of multiple muscle groups get recommended the same amount of volume? I generally hit back with a little bit more. I generally, in the massive iron world, I do 3 sets of deads plus traps and back. So if you want to think of it that way, if you want to piece together everything, you're looking at like 18 sets a week. But the back has some big hitters, right? And I think even though the exercise volume might be close to the same, I think pound for pound, you're getting in more intense work on the back. Let's say you're doing deadlifts and you're doing pendlay rows, you're doing dumbbell rows, pull-ups or lat pull-downs or seated cable rows. You're really getting in a lot of good T-bar rows. You're getting in a lot of quality work. And some of it's pragmatic. You can't simply continue to pound. It's going to be very fatiguing. I think you can get a lot of great work, a lot of great development on my plan deadlifts plus 12 sets a week. I think the issue is a lot of people don't train. I don't think a lot of people train chest and shoulders hard enough for that to be kind of balanced. I think people do their bench, maybe their dumbbell bench, and do the foo-foo stuff, and shoulders are generally foo-foo. So if we want to play in the real world a little bit, I don't think it's generally an issue. If somebody's training really, really hard, they're going to be pretty much done after deadlifts and 12 sets for back. Big Carlton, good morning. Carlton is a client of mine, the truck driver. Hope things are well. Paul, 56 years old, training 30 years, on track 3 to 4 days a week. Elbow tendonitis is an overuse injury. Shoulder tendonitis, not my specialty. You want to use grip support, get VersaGrip Pros or Cobra grips for your elbow tendonitis. And the shoulder tendonitis, I would see a doc. That's out of my pay grade. Do you think your app will include apps can include a lot of ways for you to self-monitor. We're talking about the training app I'm putting together. You can put how many reps you think it was away from failure. You can guess, and you can also list the exertion factor of the set. So let's say you did a 10 rep set of squats and you knew it was still well away from failure. Say it was 5 reps away from failure, but it felt like a 10 on the exertion scale. You're going to be able to monitor that as well. How impactful the set felt. Big Paul, good morning, Team Massive Harley Davidson or Indian Motorcycle. Thanks, Paul. Welcome to the party. Hey, boss, what would you put chest supported T-bar row on a pull day? I would put it on the opposite day. You can kind of balance it out. T-bar one day, chest supported T-bar one day, and barbell the other. Absolutely. Get in, hammer that back. What do you think about doing dips on a bench? Very, very, very user specific. We're talking about the dips with, I've done them in the past. They don't feel great for some of us. They feel good for some of us. So this is an exercise, bench dips. You need to figure out if it works well for you or if it's not worth it. When you do either ors, like should I do that or close grip, the answer is usually both. Alternate every other week. You want to probably do both. The best answer to most of these hypertrophy questions is to find a way to do both. Maybe alternate every other week. Chris, welcome aboard. Thank you, sir. Big Josh Megaroids. Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Been working in a steel mill the last 2 months. That's a lot of steps. It's hard to put on weight. I can imagine, man. The only thing I can say what I used to do is chocolate milk was my best friend. Chocolate milk and a cherry pie, right? Or Little Debbie. You can pound a couple Little Debbies, get 300-400 calories, and a big old thing of chocolate milk. And man, that was my bulking food when I was struggling to get in calories. Do you have any nicknames besides Big Hairy Ugly? Initially on the channel, they called me the Bearded Beast of Duloc, but that evolved into the Big Hairy Ugly Dude. And that's it. My wife just calls me dumbass or asshole. No, she doesn't. I'm kidding. Big Josh Megaroids. Back, biceps, and shoulders are fried by days off. Should I just hit push and legs? I still, you know what, Josh, I have a hard time not working those muscles with barbell and dumbbells. I would limit them. I would restrict them, maybe 2 sets per week, wherever you can squeeze them in a timely manner. But I do not like any body part to not get or to not keep barbell and dumbbell strong, even to a minor degree. Let's say you could normally do 200 pounds on a barbell overhead press. And I know that might seem like a lot, but you could just do 1 set of 135 for 5 just to keep some minimum dumbbell and barbell strength. It's hard to lose mass, but when you get away from the barbell and dumbbell movements completely, then it's kind of in a, be careful zone. Maya, client of mine, officially finished my last day of work before the holidays. Thank you. I appreciate you joining. You're doing absolutely amazing, and keep up the great work. I enjoy vacation. Jamie, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, thinking of getting a sausage dog. Oh, man, all pros. The best dogs. Just the best dogs, man. They're fun. They're full of personality. They're playful. They, man, I can't speak enough about these dogs. I was never the biggest dog guy, but each of these guys is so unique. They're so fun. They just follow you around everywhere. They're so faithful. They're so friendly. They're so fun, playful, ferocious. They're just great guys. Just great dogs. I cannot speak highly enough. What are the cons? They like to bark. They're not like yippers, but they're protectors. So if they see somebody at the door, they'll bark. Minor things. If they have an accident, it's just a little tinkle winkle, right? It's not a major thing. It's not a major thing. I don't find a lot of cons. If you watch videos on Dachshund's sausage dogs online, that's how they are. They're all just amazing dogs. I've had other dogs. I've had pit bulls, and I've had different types of hounds, basset hounds, and you name it. But nothing to me is like the personality of these guys. Hey, Bubba, buddy. Like, each one attached to a human. And Bubba is you're the silly best boy I know. They just attach to you, and they're just the best boys in the world. I don't know. They're little guys. What's that? You want to fight? They like chewing their bones. They don't eat a lot. We feed our guys real food. We feed them like, it sounds crazy, but because they don't eat a lot, we'll get like little bits of salmon and lamb, and we feed them good because we want to take care of them. We want them to be in good health, and they don't eat a lot. So, because we're not spending a lot of crazy, money on other things, we spend it on these guys. But man, they're just perfect dogs. I can't speak enough about these guys. Just great dogs. he just latched onto me from an early age. We got him from a breeder, and I could tell the breeder wasn't treating him good because he was scared when I would reach for him. And, you know, he was a little scared guy, and he knows he's protected by me. Look at him going to sleep right now, smiling. Um, he knows he's protected by me. He knows I do him right. He likes to play wrestles, and he likes to be Mr. Ferocious. So just a wonderful dog. Sorry, buddy. For me, dumbbells and barbell curls seem a basic, straightforward lift that is hard to get wrong. It is hard to get wrong, but in minor ways. Like when I initiate a curl, I make sure my elbow is glued right to my side. So I start strict with the bicep focus. And then when I curl up, if my elbow wants to lift a little bit to get a contraction, I do so. So we don't want to swing to initiate it. You want to kind of have the elbows glued to your side. Start to feel that tense, that contraction, and then lift your elbows up as you contract. Eric, the Beard of Redness, happy Friday. If you appreciate Steve's information, make sure to vote for him in the next table talk. Dave Tate had a post on Instagram, if any of you guys follow him, asking for folks that you'd like to see on table talk. And I had a lot of people vote for me, and I appreciate that. I wouldn't mind being on Dave's podcast. I'm just a small fry in the world, so it would be kind of an honor. Rico, I wanted to stop and generally thank you for everything you have done in the fitness and health community. Seriously support this brand. Thank you so much. It literally does. Like, it means the world to me. I love doing what I do, and behind the scenes, I'm here all day long with Team Massive and with my clients, just combing through things on Instagram, combing through things. I don't do it out of obligation. I do it out of love. And this is what I'm going to die doing. This is my calling. And anytime anybody takes time out of their day to thank me, it means the world to me. It does. Big Joe B, Team Massive, popped in to say hi. Big Paul, big hairy ugly dude. I recently joined Team Massive, and I'm loving it. I enjoy your videos, in particular, like motivation talks like where good trainees go to die. Can you make a playlist? You know what I would love, Paul? If anybody wants to make a playlist, if anybody wants to make a playlist and send it to me, I can put it together of like video titles. I honestly don't have time to do it. Like on Saturday, I get up and do client workouts, and then I try to work on content ideas for the week. And then I have to do whatever my wife wants. So if somebody would want to do that, or even if you would want to do it, Paul, I'd make it worth your while. I'd send you something for it. But if any of you guys ever want to do it, just let me know. What do you recommend for someone who just started lifting and is skinny fat? I started skinny fat just for reference. Recomping staying at the same weight isn't a game plan. So Noah, you could send me a picture if you want, through Instagram at Ben the Barman, or join teammassiveiron.com. But I could give you the best advice. Hey, I think you should lose 10 pounds and then bulk for 10 pounds, or so on and so forth. But you're going to have to start moving the needle. You're going to have to bulk. You're going to have to cut. You're going to have to commit to something and get the process started, if that makes sense. I'm thinking about getting some VersaGrips. 100% better than hooks and far more durable. Mine are 15 years old and still going. You tighten the straps around the wrists. There's Velcro. So it just tightens it around. Get VersaGrip Pros. They have a longer flap, which is important on some exercises. Recommended rep range for in work. Doesn't matter if it's... I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss something. Doesn't matter if it's machine, body weight, cable. Just when I recommend rep ranges, a lot of what I recommend is exercise specific based on my experiences and what I see. So, for example, dips are an easy Dips and pull-ups are an easy exercise to cheat English, get sloppy on, do ego lifting. Pull-ups, you'll see half reps, sloppy pull-ups. So I like this. I like to get people doing 10 to 12 reps on those to establish good quality reps. And then we can start adding weight. We can go lower in rep range. Body weight stuff, that covers the body weight. Isolation stuff. It's easier to progress at a higher rep range, but that's very, very trivial. Lower rep ranges on isolation and cable stuff it depends on the exercise. Like seated cable row might be an exception, but for some cable exercise, it just feels better 10, 12, maybe even 15 rep range. Machines, it's going to come down to the machine, but I want to get some volume in. I want to get us pushing some volume physically, just to benefit us physically and mentally, 10 or 12. You can go higher on machines if you want, but that's usually the sweet spot for me. Daniel, can you recommend exercises that I can do rest pause on? So I don't generally do them on the big compound movements. I generally don't do them on isolation or isolaterals like lunges, Bulgarians, dumbbell rows. You can't really. So you rule out squats, deads, RDLs, bench, overheads. Then you rule out isolaterals. From there, pretty much anything else you can do rest pause style on if it makes sense. Do you have any advice for people who work sitting all day? My biggest advice is to try to make a plan to get in 30 minutes of extra movement a day, some way, somehow. Try to get those steps up to 5,000 as a minimum. Move the body around a little bit. Just every little step is going to count. But that would be my biggest advice. Be bigger than a boo-boo baby. Right. Any tips for dealing with the increased hunger that comes from cardio? Sit-fu. Part of it is just sucking it up. A little bit of cardio isn't going, you got to structure your meals to accommodate your hunger mostly. When are you doing your cardio? Some of hunger is fighting it. If we're going to frequently eat, we're probably frequently going to be hungry. So a lot of dealing with hunger is just sucking it up. The other part is structuring your meals at an appropriate time, where you can hold off for a little bit and then eat, and not die. What do you eat for dinner? You mentioned types of things you avoid. When I go out for dinner, I focus on animal and plant-based as a cornerstone. I very rarely get pasta just because I'm not a big pasta fan. But we went to an Argentinian restaurant and we got pork, chicken, steak, seafood with potatoes in the middle. I have a taco place I like called Bubba Coos, where they have fresh ingredients, and I just get chicken or steak or fresh, jalapenos, rice, black beans, all good stuff. I usually look, like when I'm looking at a menu, sometimes I get a burger. I don't really do the fries. I'll get like broccoli as a side. But that's the type of stuff I look for. A good meat dish. And then I kind of look for sides that are good. I will go for broccoli usually because I like restaurant broccoli. It's usually pretty good. I don't do French fries. I don't do fried appetizers. Sometimes I'll do an onion ring or two. I'm not Jesus, right? I'm not perfect. But if I order onion rings, I'll have one or two or three. If fries come to the table, I'll have one or two. We try to avoid bread. Sometimes the house bread is so good, we'll have a piece of the bread. We won't eat the whole bread bowl. It's really about moderation, if that makes sense. Due to scheduling, I sometimes have to end my bulk after 2 months. Don't worry about that. Think of cumulative time bulking over the course of a year, right? So bulk as much as you can during the year, and look at time each year rather than necessarily duration. Gamboni Law, thoughts on NFLer DK Metcalf allegedly died of candy and coffee. If that is the case, he's going to get sick really, really quickly. There's no protein in that. It's hard to tell if delts are growing as I can't measure as easily. Advice on tracking size. You can get one of these tapes that auto closes, like that snugs up. I would get one of those things. I'd get a picture of them. I'm still holding my dog here. But you're going to need some friends. I would make sure you get a skinfold caliper and take those once a month so you can kind of look at trends of your body fat percentage, and you can kind of monitor your lean body mass to a minimal degree. All right, cigars and handlebars. Big, hairy, ugly dude and friends. I recently got a mental health hurdle. I got over one. Congrats. I've been programming only kettlebells, bands, and jump rope. How do you feel only about... Well, it's good for general movement, my friend. I mean, exercise is good for mental health and general health, and I have no issue with any form of movement. The only thing I'll say is there are benefits to adding in conventional muscle building stuff, just from an overall physique standpoint. So I would try to work that in during the week as well. What percentage of lifters get snapped up? If your last name is Wheels, 100%. I don't know. I don't know that many that are snapped up. Like the problem with like the big juice guys is their muscles are getting bigger and stronger, but their connective tissue are lagging behind. So I don't know. I don't know a lot that gets snapped up that are natties. As you're close to genetic limit, you really made any noticeable gains in over a decade. Because I love it, man. I lift hard because I love to lift hard. The fight is everything. You stop fighting, you're dead. I want to be strong as I am now at age 60, and I'm almost there. The push is everything. I wouldn't be anywhere in life if I wasn't pushing myself. That is the essence of life, my friend. Just because I've hit hard limits doesn't mean there's not one more to gain. As an advanced lifter, how did natural hypertrophy recomp when he was already I don't know anything about his stats. So I see this tossed around a lot, and I don't know anything about his stats, so to comment would not be right. On your answer to what is possible in 3 years, why don't people check all the boxes? It's hard to get 16 pounds. Most people don't know what to do, and to do it is hard. That's why I put out my book, Massive Iron, to try to get people focused on that stuff. How many people training right now in this feed nailed their diet the last year? Right? I don't know all of you guys, but I'd say maybe 10% nailed it the complete year. Right? And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to sound like an ass, but it's hard to nail all the right boxes. A friend showed me his exercise plan. Everything is 4 to 6 range. Yes, that's way too low. You can't just generically assign the same rep range to every exercise. That's programming ignorance and programming laziness, right? Super laziness in programming. And plus, for the average lifter, it's just too low. It's just too hard. It's just too punishing, especially if, under the light that their form might not be 100%. All right, guys, I got 7 questions left. We've been on for 2 hours. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. So this is a last call for questions. Get your last questions in now. Big, hairy, ugly dude. How's it going, Mike? HB, I think YouTube ate my sled question. How would you program a sled for muscle building? I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. And like if I had to do it like it was the only thing on earth, and I don't believe that's the case for most people, your friends, the exception. I would have to think about it long and hard. I would. It's not something I could just pull out of my ass, but I would tell you when I am pushing, I would make sure that I'm pushing with my quads, not just pulling, right? It'd be very specific as far as the movement patterns and overload. Do you think I'd F my concrete basement floor up if I did deadlifts? I'd have to see them. I did deadlifts on concrete floors, and I never had an issue, but always use more padding. Put a piece of 2x4 down, some mats over the top or something. Do you still incorporate? Hell yeah. Yeah. I don't eat Twix bars, but when I have a bag of chips, I'll get the small bag. Like if I'm going to have a few drinks on a Saturday night, I'll get a small bag of Doritos, like the little single serve. When I do pizza, I do a small pizza, thin crust. So I don't think of it as cheat days. How you eat really depends on, are you abusing yourself with food? Do you need to pull any of that in? And, where you are with your weight. I don't want my weight to get out of control. I don't like feeling full, but yeah, I eat stuff like that. I like dumbbell pullovers. I've done them on chest day. You can do them chest or back focus. It really is a very unicorn lift. Now, when you're doing a pullover and you're going to get elbow rotation, you're going to get they're going to work your triceps a little bit. So you're going to get some of that invariably. But, you can do them. I don't think they're the best chest exercise. I really, really don't. I think they're like the Sven press, where you can kind of feel the chest. I don't really think they're a quality chest exercise. I'm just saying. You told us a little bit about your sidestep into special supplements. What I mentioned is that I took promo hormones, 2 tablets for like 2 days, and I did 25 milligrams of testosterone for like a week back in 2004. So I wouldn't really consider that a contribution. It was like 7 days of my life where I took a microdose. Ab work. I guess it depends. Like how much each exercise, is how hard it's feeling. Again, it comes down to the impact of the exercise. Like I've done decline sit-ups, holding a plate, cable crunches, which I'm not really a fan of. It really comes down to the exercise, Harut. It does. So everything I do is based off. There's a point in exercise where you just feel like, from a cardiovascular standpoint, it's harder than a muscle standpoint. I don't like to go there. I like to kind of hit a muscular degree of failure. So I kind of base things on that. Thoughts on Wes Watson? Never heard of him. Not being dismissive, no idea who it is. I don't know if it's a porn star or a plumber. How would you describe the types of people on Team Massive? Just a wide variety. women, men, all ages. We have Tim, who's 18, and Singapore, Hong Kong. Tim, sorry, I forgot. We have school teachers in Iowa. Just a wide range of people. It's a community, just a community of people that like lifting, and they keep logs. We have daily topics. There's no way to describe it other than it would be the same type of community as people posting here, just a wide variety of people of all ages. Is incline dumbbell, barbell, overhead, lateral enough stimulus for shoulders? Incline is not really a direct shoulder exercise, more than it's a front delt exercise. Barbell overhead and a lateral raise are a good start, but I'd want another lift in the mix, like dumbbell overhead presses or machine shoulder overhead press. October 13th, my friend. When you talk about gaining X amount of muscle per year, doesn't that assume you're bulking? Well, if you're bulking right, you're going to be bulking at least 10 to 11 months out of the year, hopefully. But these are all just general conversations, yes. So they're perfect world conversations, but we're not really making assumptions. When I say 6 to 8 pounds of muscle a year, this is factored in. But it's, don't get caught up in the weeds. These are just general discussions. If you're cutting for 3 months out of the year, that's a lot of you probably are doing a little bit too aggressive bulking, because that's like 25 to 30 pounds of fat. Instead of deloads, what are your thoughts on? Go to the main page of this channel, YouTube, and search deloads. I don't just like scheduling random deloads. I like to take days off when I feel like it, 100%. All right, guys, that's it. We're out of here. 2 hours and 8 minutes. I just woke up, buddy boy. Sorry, little boy. Did I wake you up, little boy? Oh, little boy. Sorry. We just got one coming in. I got some negative things going on in life that won't change in the coming years. How to deal with it. Focus on what you can control, my friend. That's all you can do. Do what you enjoy. Spend your time each day doing what you enjoy. Focus on what you can control. That is all you can do in life. All right, guys, I'm out of here. We'll be back next Friday. I appreciate you guys joining in. Please head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman, and follow me on Instagram. I do Q&As at least twice a week over there. And consider joining TeamMassiveIron.com. If you need coaching, check out SuperLivingToday.com. If you need whey protein, creatine, or some really cool t-shirts, check out SuperLivingToday.com. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Kick some ass.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.